Hey, hi guys, welcome back. All right, so this is going to be a today's topic video. It is going to be for the 20th of February. As always, you guys can enter to win a free read with me by writing the word compassion in the comment section, being a subscriber to the channel, and giving this video a thumbs up. Those three things get you entered to win. I didn't choose anybody yet today. I will be doing that in tomorrow's video, just so you know, and it'll be from somebody over the last 7 days worth of videos that I put out for the today's topics. Okay, so could be anybody from today or all the way back 7 days ago. So anyway, guys, and I will do the free reading at the end of tomorrow's video. Hi, Carol. So glad you're here. All right, so we are starting this storyline out with card number 43. It's the labyrinth. It's the maze. I always look at the labyrinth as a nice analogy of our mind. A labyrinth, though, the reason we walk through labyrinths is because we're trying to give ourselves time to think through things. Wandering back and forth in a maze gives us time to work on stuff that we need to solve a problem. And then it kind of like, it's like working through our neural pathways as well. Now, in this card, you notice that we have multiple people in multiple different, segments of the maze. And the ultimate goal, right, is to get to the middle. One person already arrived there, and the middle would represent true understanding. Now, sometimes these characters will be perfectly in alignment with each other to the point where they could almost interact with each other. But you notice they're all still in their own little lane. So everyone is slightly, everybody in that imagery is all on a different part of their path. No one is booed up yet that we see. Hi, Andrea. So glad you're here. All right, so we've got, oh my goodness, this is not a bad card. It's not, I know it's the anchor, but it's not like, oh my gosh, we're sinking. It's actually about getting grounded. And when we couple it with the rider, although someone has been very much in their mind, and I'm going to go ahead right now and say, maybe a couple of people have very much been in their mind, have been working through things, their own private journey, their own private hurts, fears, worries. I mean, we all do that, whether we admit it or not, right? I mean, I can't even tell you what my week has been like, my own private journey, for sure. And there's struggles and there's things that only we deal with that no one else knows about, right? That's just how life is. But every single one of these characters is using that labyrinth for the best possible purpose, which is to get more grounded. And someone in this labyrinth appears, and it could be a divine feminine, doesn't matter. It's just that's who we see on the card right now. I don't read for genders, though, so you can, substitute anything that you wish in these stories. Someone's about to take action. Now, the writer usually carries a message. That's what the writer does. This is a happy message. This is somebody who, has rainbows all around. The only thing that gives me pause is that they are riding on a carousel horse, which just tends to go round and round. The fact that we have the labyrinth that has been winding us in the serpentine pathway, and then we have this round and round, there's a little bit of repeat wash and rinse cycle going on in this. But I do feel like maybe we're talking about more than one person who has felt interwoven to someone who is also interwoven to someone else, who's also interwoven to someone else's life. Meaning this is not, I'm not talking about like love triangles and stuff like that, although sometimes that is the way that we talk about weaving lives together. But let's think of it less in a cheating and romance situation. Let's think of it as like an energetic vibe. So I come from a big family, so to talk about an interweaving network of energy and conversation is like, that's just my life on the daily, right? You say one thing to one sister and eventually it goes around to, some aunt in another part of the world that you haven't talked to in 10 years. And you're like, what? Why is she calling me? How does she know? That kind of stuff. So we all are interwoven, but now let's think of it different again and say, what if, this person met this individual, felt some connection, but perhaps they still have unfinished business with this character over here. And until they figure out what this means, they're not going to be able to fully detach, which means they can't fully connect with somebody else. I mean, that can be the situation as well. But we do have a bit of a revolving door, but somebody Somebody is feeling like they are ready to step up and say something. But this is joyful. This is good news. Well, somebody's about to get some kind of an invitation. I'm not. Hold on. I'm gonna zip it for just a second. Let's get one more card here. Hey, Brina, so glad you're here. El Marquis, very nice. Hi, Juanette. Escar, hello, darling. I think that this is like, we've got somebody who really wants to go ahead and there's more communication. We keep getting cards of communication and an invitation. It's somebody who does want to either share good news or suddenly invite someone. There could be a celebration, there could be a birthday, there could be a belated, I mean, heck, this looks kind of Valentine's-y. Maybe there's a belated Valentine's-y thing coming up. But it's almost like this is feeling like a complicated story to me, because I still want to go with the idea that everyone in the labyrinth has been getting some form of clarity and groundedness. And the first person who goes, you know what, I'm super grounded, I'm feeling really good, could be this feminine who's smack dab in the middle. And that could be our writer, because she's like, oh my God, I totally have clarity. I feel so good. I want to shout it from the mountaintops. I feel like I've maybe achieved something. I've left behind some kind of complication. She may imagine that she's done dealing with whomever is still in that labyrinth who she's energetically connected to. And she's glad about it, right? But remember, she's on the carousel horse. And almost at about the same time, she may be receiving, this could be a new love offer from somebody. But also at the same time, we have these owls that have been chit-chatting, and one person finally gets the advice that they need to say, go see someone. And they take off to go see someone, which I'm going to imagine is probably this rider, who is also probably this individual who's already made it to the center of the labyrinth. I'm wondering if this isn't going to be a collision of things that all happen all at once. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting, because this doesn't feel simple. And of course it couldn't be, because it's a labyrinth. We're winding through things. This is going to have to be layers of, now I only read this deck in the upright because it's a Lenormand. There is good luck, there is good fortune at play here, but the clover flowers themselves also represent lovers at a distance, kind of like thinking longingly of each other. This, because we have some element of travel, we have some element of an invitation, an offer, a gift even, that somebody would like to present to someone who they're at a distance from. I believe we have one person done with the labyrinth. They've come to some conclusions. They feel good about their life. At the same time, someone else is exiting the labyrinth and they now want to take action. Their mind is clear. Whatever they'd been working on, worried about, chewing on, whoever they'd been interacting with energetically and didn't know the right decision to make, they finally also got clarity and now they want to take action. But I'm inclined to say, let's go one more time with this deck. Only because this has been giving us kind of a meaty little story. Oh, burdens. Okay, so there's a heavy cross to bear somewhere in the midst of all of this. And what's interesting, all this while, I wondered who the 4 people are in the labyrinth. This actually oftentimes references mothers and fathers. Is it possible that part of the confusion was someone didn't know what to do because they were still trying to please moms and pops? Could be. There is sometimes a religious aspect, like a belief system, all wrapped up in this as well. Like a heavy emphasis on honor thy mother and thy father, do what they say, and to disappoint them is like too great an ordeal. And yet, if that was part of what kept somebody in this labyrinth, wanting to make a choice for themselves, but feeling unable to do so because of family pressures, and they didn't know, how can I disappoint someone? Even if they knew that they wanted to get to that person who's in the middle of the labyrinth, who doesn't seem to have those hangups, I still kind of am under the impression right now that this has been a pretty heavy little journey. Let's get one oracle card. Give me something. And I'm asking for this only because we saw those owls that represent the wisdom there. The birds are always messengers, and on this particular deck, it was calling out to me because obviously we've got an owl there next to the hourglass, almost like the guys are saying it's time. Oh, we have prophecy. um and we've got somebody's third eye real wide open here, right? And again with the birds, and the ravens are the messengers as well. And then the raven is sitting on top of the skull, almost like a reminder that, hey, the ancestors want us to be happy, or even a reminder that, hey, we're only alive for so long. Make it count. Love who you love. Do the thing that your heart has told you you're going to do all along. Here's what I would say with the card of prophecy. It's as if one character in this labyrinth knew all along how this was all going to play out, even though they may have been the ones that were taking the longest to finish getting through the labyrinth. But there was never a doubt as to what was going to happen. There was never a doubt as to what they were going to do. Okay, let's see now if we can identify characters a little bit, because there's a meaty little story in here, but who is who? Tell me first off, who is the writer? The writer is someone who, we've got a Knight of Cups, we've got a King of Wands, and we got a Ten of Swords. The writer is somebody, and this is what I was suggesting, is that the writer was the first person to get to the middle of the labyrinth and say, oh, I feel so much more grounded. I'm on my way. But really, they kind of do keep cycling through. They don't know that, though. They think everything is different. They might have just met somebody new. They're starting to have a little love interest. They are being perhaps pursued by a new love interest. And yet, sitting right there, somewhere in their energy field, still seems to be a King of Wands. Yet they think that that's over with the King of Wands, because we got a Ten of Swords here. So we have, the writer does think that everything is, that's why they feel lighter. They feel better. They may have just accepted some new love offer. But swooping in comes the owl. Let's figure out who the owl is. Let's change decks for the owl. And remember, the owl is listening to their higher self, but they first had to get information. Oh, High Priestess. It is somebody who's highly intuitive. It is somebody who has hidden a lot, maybe hidden a lot of their feelings, maybe has not really conveyed much about what they wanted to say in the past, but has definitely been aware of where there has been that energetic connection. Hey, Tiger Woman, Moon Goddess, so glad you're here. Namaste, sweetheart. Deborah, delighted you're here. Hey, Stephen, Patricia, Monica, Candy Puff, so glad everybody popped by tonight. We got a Four of Swords. Ooh, so our owl is the person who is coming toward, from what I can tell, they are the person who has chosen to come toward the writer. And I'm just going to say our divine feminine, okay? Because that's who I think the writer is. So the feminine has a new suitor. She thinks that things are over. She does not know that the owl person is probably most likely that King of Wands. Somebody who has hidden a lot of emotions. Someone who has been there's been silence, a lot of silence with that Four of Swords. Why? Two of Swords, they didn't know what to do. They didn't, which makes sense because that's what we've been talking about all along. Somebody was trapped in the middle of that labyrinth. Don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. Tell me about, not that this is a person, but tell me about the bouquet of flowers. Two of Pentacles. Do I send a gift? Do I not? And remember, I was looking at that bouquet as an invitation that our feminine, our writer, may be receiving from a new love, but it could also be a gift or something that is coming in like very late, as I don't know if it's like a very belated Valentine's Day or what, but I feel as if she's possibly getting it from two different sources. The new person and whoever the King of Wands is, which I'm going to say is our owl person, the person who was silent for so long, the person who didn't know what to say for so long, the person who was trapped in the labyrinth still, unable to see their way through it. Oh, my. Okay, so we got to talk about the problems, but also this spot of good luck, because we've got two conflicting cards here. We've got some wonderful good fortune, and then we still have to talk about whatever the blockage has been. Let's go with let's go with this card for what is the good fortune? What is the good luck? Is that like the universe is allowing the timing to be right? High Priestess again. This is all about the High Priestess is in this case, I feel like the High Priestess was associated with the owl. And even the High Priestess is usually a divine feminine. I feel like we have had a divine masculine as that King of Wands, who is also this character. They're the ones that they may be quite a blend of divine feminine and masculine characteristics. Now, I don't read for genders, and so I know that gets confusing, but they're the person that's approaching. They're the person who has known all along while they were lost out in the labyrinth. They've still always known where they were headed. They've always known that eventually they were going to end up getting to the middle of the labyrinth and coming toward that divine feminine. And at this point, the good fortune, the good luck is the High Priestess all over again. They are the ones who finally feel like it's the right time. They still have not said anything, but they feel it. They sense it. They have been waiting for a sign from the universe for a long time. Justice in the reverse could be a Libra, doesn't have to be. It's somebody who says, now I know I can set things right. Now I know it's the opportunity. Here's the thing. Here's the catch. They seem to be going towards someone who already thinks that she's out of the labyrinth and she's met somebody new. Let's not forget, we've got a King of Cups, or excuse me, a Knight of Cups coming in. At the same time, she thinks it's over with a King of Wands. She doesn't know the King of Wands is still thinking about her and is just now thinking, this King of Wands thinks that they can come back in at this point and make things right. They're sure that now's the right time, which is interesting because she's got a new offer coming in from a Knight of Cups. So everything has gotten complicated once again, even though we were trying to get it simple. And that makes sense because she was the rider going round and round on a carousel horse. She's going to have to face this all over again, even though she thought she was done with it. Let's talk for just a minute about the Knight of Cups, sorry. Avalanche or earthquake. Oh my goodness. Hopefully not. That's been some really devastating earthquakes out there. It's the last thing we need is anything shaking. I hope that didn't upset anybody. We've got this Knight of Cups here. The Knight of Cups, to clarify, the Knight of Cups. We just keep seeing that this is somebody new, but they're getting a little bit more serious because we have the seahorse. This is somebody who is actively looking for their forever partner because seahorses mate for life. This is not, they may come in as a knight. She may meet them as they pass through her life, but there's attention. Maybe she sees them when they're out driving a lot. Maybe this is somebody who's always in motion when she sees them, but they are someone who is actively looking for their long-term partner. That is what they want. So the Knight of Cups, yes, they're a knight, but we're not going to say, oh, well, they're only a knight. They're inconsequential. Not at all. We got a 9 of Swords in the reverse. We got a 4 of Swords. Okay. So they haven't spoken up yet or didn't for quite a while. Not because they were afraid, but maybe they were just, wrapping up some stuff in their own life cycle. So if they're just now taking action toward her, it's probably all for the best. They wanted to make sure that they had total clean and clear. They didn't have a heartbreak left over. They didn't have anything that was going to bog them down in, meeting her or getting with her. 7 of Wands. This person is, they actually have a very determined vibe to them. This new romantic individual that is coming into her life as that knight, they are very passionate. They are very a little reptilian in the sense that they see what they want and they want it. But with the 7 of Wands, this person has also I think they've kind of had to be a scrapper a lot in their life. They've faced a lot of problems. I think this person may have to, even though they are a lover, they are soft, they are wonderful, they may have a bit of a hard exterior. Ooh, this person, it's interesting. This Knight of Cups, this new person in her life is coming in and showing up as somebody who is both like really sensitive, really empathic, really empowered all at the same time, a master manifester, but they first start out a little slow and they have a weird blend, not weird, they have an interesting blend of deep sensitivity, but also this really, they have to have a thick hide. Whatever this person does for a living, I would say they have to be able to handle extremely difficult situations in life. And what gets them through that is sheer willpower and determination. So this person is very powerful. This person faces conflict and drama all the time. I don't know what they do for a living. This could be they are a gentle and empathic person, but I feel like this could be like someone who's been a soldier, somebody who's been, through really, really tough things in life. And so they have a hardened edge to them. Like they also have like down to earth expectations, but pretty high expectations. No more than what they expect for themselves. But this character, they're an interesting blend. They may come across as a knight and kind of soft and sweet. No, there's way more to this character. They're also way more powerful than what might first meet the eye. I can see why she would be so excited and feel like, I'm through the labyrinth. I'm really interested in this person. It's brand new, but I'm interested to see who they are. I'm intrigued by that knight is really fascinating to me. Um, they come across as somebody who's got this incredible backbone, but also a sensitivity, but they're not like they're not a pushover, is what I would say. Okay. So now as we go back for just a minute, and I want to talk about why does that King of Wands think that this is a great time to be coming in? Remember, they think they're sure that they've gotten the message. I'm supposed to come in now and set things right. Oh my. Okay, what happens with that? And remember, we still have a burden that we got to talk about. 3 of Swords, Queen of Coins. Okay, so in their mind, this is interesting. They think that she is still who she used to be. They think, I know that I hurt her feelings a lot, and I know how giving she is, and I know she wants to give to me. I'm not so sure that that's the same person. She came out the labyrinth. When they last knew her, they might have met her when they were both in a labyrinth. She got through it. Now they're just catching up. And so in their mind, time hasn't really passed yet. They don't know she's changed, is what I would say. Now, keep in mind, this King of Wands has loved her all along, but at every turn, we saw them stuck. We saw them confused. We saw them not sure. 8 of Cups, 3 of Cups. They finally have charted their own path through the labyrinth, and that is why they now feel like their life is their own, their decisions are their own. Now they want to have a reunion. They're ready. They're completely sure that they are now ready. So all of this was about themselves. They had to get out of the labyrinth, which makes sense, right? Every person has to journey through their own sets of confusion and obstacles and all those things. So they got through it, which good on them. They got through it. But we come to that card of the obstacle. And initially, I was suggesting that the obstacle may have been family related things, belief systems. And I was only talking about the obstacle in relationship, possibly to that King of Wands. But this obstacle could be a couple different things now. Okay, so we have a Queen of Swords. So one of the obstacles does have to do with either a Queen of Swords that put up boundaries, or this could be talking about our divine feminine who has become a Queen of Swords. She has boundaries. She's not so easily accessible at this point to this King of Wands. Hold on, let's see. 4 of Wands. Oh my. It is more of what I was thinking is that the burden now is, why couldn't this have happened sooner? See, now she has a better idea of what she's wanted. In fact, her ideas have changed about what she wants because we see the butterflies all over around her. She's envisioning having a 4 of Wands, but I'm wondering if she's not envisioning that King of Wands as being her person. And it may be because it's like there were so many obstacles before. You had so many burdens. What were their burdens? Hold on. Let me ask. What were their burdens? Justice. So their life was not fair. I don't know if this King of Wands had a bunch of legal issues. I don't know if it was just that their life, they were being treated unfairly, possibly by a mother figure. Doesn't have to be. But when justice is in the upright, that King of Wands, who could also be a Libra, by the way, which has nothing to do with the King of Wands typically, but we've seen the Justice coming out twice associated with them. So I'm just going to put that out there, even though King of Wands should be a fire sign, not an air sign, right? But I'm going to say that in this storyline, I feel like the King of Wands' own life, they were under heavy burdens that they really shouldn't have had to bear. Maybe other people guilted them, made them feel like they couldn't do what they wanted, made them feel like they were responsible for the lives of all these other people and at the sacrifice of their own happiness. So they were stuck in that labyrinth of their mind, feeling this burden that was unfairly placed upon them. But unfortunately, the burden now that we face is that I think the object of their affection may have a totally different viewpoint in her mind of who she thinks her Four of Wands would be. So we got to simplify this. How does our queen or our divine feminine feel about the two different characters that are clearly a part of her life right now? Because we see her about to be approached by two different characters at basically the same time. We didn't see if it's happened yet or if it's just about to. My impression is it's just about to happen. So tell me, how will she feel about each character? First, let's go with the King of Wands, since that was a person she had in her past. The Two of Swords. It would be like she wouldn't know what to say. It's as if I was in the middle of a chess game with them and they never made a move, and now I'm supposed to. Now it's like my turn to go. Where did this even come from? I don't even know what to do with this. I thought that the chess game was over, and really, should love be a chess game at all? And maybe that's the problem, is this feels more like a game. Like, okay, wait, are they just coming in to mess with me, to get me to think about them again? It feels like she's really confused about why are they here. The Star. Hmm. And at the same time, there's this quiver or this glimmer of, at one point, they were my wish fulfillment. Could they still be? Could this be healed? So it kind of seems like it's going to be a bit of a head trip for her, Aquarius energy there. Um, but it's going to be a bit of a head trip for her when that person, see, Eight of Swords, but she keeps getting back to, but I can't rewrite history. They were so stuck, they couldn't make a decision. That's what I know of them. All I know of them is a person who, despite their guides coming in and trying to help them through this and trying to cut themselves free, in her mind, she's like, they didn't really have obstacles. They could have been with me, but in all honesty, they got stuck in their head and they chose not to be with me. Now, that's obviously not the way it has kind of been shown through the cards, but in her mind, she's saying, that King of Wands who stayed out stuck in the labyrinth, I mean, were they a wish fulfillment? Oh god, yeah. But what I know of them is that this is how they operate. I That just makes me think that that's a risk. Okay, so hold on. I want to be fair about this and I have a duplicate deck. There it is. So now let's talk about that new Knight of Cups, right? How might she feel about the Knight of Cups? Hi, everybody. So glad you're here. Thanks for popping by. Four of Swords, Seven of Swords. What? Okay, so this is interesting because in her mind, it's one of two things. Either she was like, oh, I don't know. Because remember, we saw the Four of Swords with them as well. Like they had been silent for a period of time, still kind of sifting through some stuff. And it's almost like when she thinks of that Knight of Cups, she goes, I don't know. By the way, she may have a dog or a wolf, but she thinks about them and she goes, I thought that they were interested, but then I don't know. Then I thought they were kind of like holding back, and so I was pretty sure that they were interested, but maybe I wasn't really ready to talk to them yet either. Or maybe I know they weren't ready to talk to me and I didn't know what their circumstances were, but I'm glad they didn't try to come forward and then not be ready. But I also kind of think that they've been interested for a while, but held back. So they kind of been lying to me about their interest. She's already in that state where it's, you know, how you can kind of tell when somebody's interested, even if they don't really admit it. And there's this kind of dancing back and forth. Ooh, judgment. Four of Pentacles in the reverse, Three of Cups in the reverse. It's interesting, even though she doesn't really have much to go on with that Knight of Cups, she felt there was an undercurrent. She already knew that there was some kind of attractive force. She also knew the person was almost acting like there wasn't an attractive force. And in her mind, it's because she knew at some point this was going to happen. They were going to show back up, and now they weren't going to hold back. And it's as if she's saying it's because they needed to make sure that they didn't have any other attachments. I like the way she's viewing this character, this Knight of Cups. It's like she already has more, I'll say more trust in the way this person has approached. It's someone who didn't come in before they were really ready. It's like she subconsciously knows they're not somebody who opens one door before they close a former door. They don't do third party stuff. They don't do wishy-washy. There was an interest that they didn't act on, even though she suspected it was there. And if they do come forward toward her, it will be full on, like no hesitation, no confusion. And it'll be like, oh, so good to see you again. She's already aware of this with them, which is kind of an uncanny thing. But remember, we saw when we talked about that Knight of Cups, we saw them as a master manifester, someone who, yes, they do hold back. Yes, they only act as a knight until they're darn good and ready. And then they come in not as a knight anymore and not even as a king or an emperor. They come in as a major arcana. They come in as, you know, as the magician, someone who's ready to really make their life and make them their presence be known and go after what they want totally and completely. You know who we haven't talked about is her enough. So I do want to touch on where is she at with things? And just for her own self, where is she at with things? Let's see. Where is she at with things? We've got 3 cards, all in the reverse. We have a 5 of Wands in the reverse. We have a Page of Swords in the reverse. And we have what I call the creator of the deck in the reverse. She's kind of a blank slate. She's not mad. She's not blocking anything. She's not overthinking anything. And she's not trying to, like, you know, grind the gears and make things happen and drive anything in a particular way. She's basically like, I'm here for the ride. I'm here for, I think it's interesting that she's very much, I would say, about surrender right now. It's kind of interesting. She was just basically happy. 7 of Wands, Queen of Swords in the reverse. She's happy until if somebody's going to try to come in and create any kind of like disruption, she will probably shut it down pretty fast. I think she doesn't like disruption. She doesn't want things that are going to bring up that side of her that gets hostile or that gets, like, you know, snappy. It's like the thing that I want is I want to allow life to kind of unfold. And if I have to, like, push stuff back that's coming at me that isn't treating me good, I will say my piece, but I would rather just not deal with that. I would rather, you know, universe, bring me the stuff that's right. Bring me the stuff that's good. Okay, so what is the universe going to be bringing to her then? Because, I mean, we've seen that, like, she's going to have a choice between 2 is what it looks like. She, he, doesn't matter. 6 of Cups, Knight of Wands, Ace of Swords. The universe is bringing in a soulmate. The thing is, I'm a little bit like, I still see that the universe is bringing in 2. They're bringing in a returning soulmate. They're bringing in a new passionate individual, and she's going to have to make a decision. The birds are even flying right and left, and here's our Ace of Wands, or excuse me, Ace of Swords smack dab in the middle. She's going to have to decide, What does she choose? Does she go right? Does she go left? The universe is putting her own choice right there in her hands, which is very empowering. 10 of Wands, whatever she chooses is going to help her let go of burdens, one side or the other. If she chooses that King of Wands from her past, she'll be letting go of this new person, and then she'll, formally say, yes, I connect to this King of Wands from my past. That's who I want back. I forgive them for being trapped in the labyrinth. I forgive them for all that time that they were stuck. I can let all that go. Or she can say, I release that King of Wands. I'm glad that they showed back up, but I can release them now because I've met this amazing, completely different quality person, this Knight of Cups, who didn't come toward me until they were very sure that they were ready to make overtures. So it's weird because it's like everybody was stuck in the labyrinth for a while. Now everybody's getting out and everybody's ready to chit chat. But now her big thing is, hold on. What does she really want for that ultimate relationship for herself? 8 of Cups. She's going to have to ask herself a big question. What does she see her future looking like? It's always our own choice as to who we want to be with and what we invite into our world. But this in particular is a really big choice for her to make. Who does she want? It's not just about that, though. It's about what kind of a relationship does she want to have? What kind of a life does she want to have? Because choosing one person or the other, her life could go in two very distinctly different avenues. And if her goal is to not have a bunch of stress, no wonder she's going to have to choose really wisely. And the only way to do that is not to do it because it's like, oh, but I don't want to hurt this person's feelings, so I'll go with them instead. She has to make a decision that is only about herself, not where she's like sacrificing her own happiness to get with this person or that person. It all has to be just up to her. So I kind of think that that's maybe the big message in all of this is every character has done exactly what they needed to for themselves. And at this point, there are two people that both want her, but it's her turn to do exactly what's right for her. Neither one of the suitors was ready because they were still dealing with their own labyrinths. And now at this point, they become her labyrinth. Who will I choose? She's been in the middle. She's been fine. She hadn't had blockages. They become her blockage, or not blockage, but they become the thing she has to think through. Who do I want? And it's about how, every person has to make the choice that is right for themselves. And other people will not always be happy with the choices that someone makes for themselves. But that's a part of life also, right? Understanding that, hey, you got to do what's right for you. I accept it. I respect it. I release you. I wish you had chosen me, but I understand that you couldn't or weren't ready to. Whatever this is, I understood. I want to go back before we end this. I know this is really long, but that card of prophecy still has me staring at it because I'm like, okay, remember it was the King of Wands who always believed at some point they would be back with her, with that divine feminine. And now they believe it's that time. Now they can go toward her. But I just want to ask the universe, what was the card of prophecy really all about? We've got a 7 of Staves. We got a High Priestess. Deep down, that King of Wands did always feel, they knew all along that, because it's like the temple. This 7 of Wands is like deep within themselves. There was never really a doubt as to whether or not they wanted her. There was never a doubt that she was supposed to be in their life. The High Priestess, again, this is the third time now that we've seen the High Priestess to depict that King of Wands, which I think is really interesting. But there's all these blueprints here. It's almost like they've said, but she is my person, which is so interesting because I was under the impression that she may not be choosing them. But I mean, I can't say for sure. It's up to her to choose, right? But Three of Cups. Oh my gosh. No, this could be changing in a little bit. Maybe their prophecy was, I've always known that we were going to come to this place where I didn't choose her when I should have. And then at some point, the roles are going to reverse and she's going to be faced with having to choose between me and someone else. That's an interesting thing. So they knew that she was supposed to be theirs, but at some point, because they made this mistake, or maybe not even a mistake, they just knew that at some point the roles would reverse and it would be them waiting heart in hand to know, does she choose me or does she choose somebody else? That's, boy, everything comes full circle, huh? Let me get one more here. 10 of Sacred Circles came out with the Princess of Sacred Circles. They also, this is so weird because we don't really get an answer. They can only sense that at one point in time, the very thing that they did to her is going to, the roles will reverse, right? And what it leads to is one person is going to get to have a lifetime with her, a happy, wonderful, living in a sweet little town, knowing their neighbors, building a life together. And the other one is probably going to have to start and go in a different direction, because this is the full achievement and this is a brand new beginning. The Princess of Sacred Circles is like the page, and our pages are our messengers, and it shows just a small beginning, whereas a 10 of Sacred Circles is the 10 of Pentacles. It's a full-on completion. And I almost feel like they have been aware all along that although they always knew that she was the one that they wanted to be with, by the time they were ready, it's almost like they half expected, well, totally expected, that she will be faced, they will be a contestant now, and they will be having to wait and see, what does she choose? Does she choose me or does she choose somebody else? And I know that she will either be really happy with me or be really happy with somebody other than me. They don't know who she's going to end up picking. It's an interesting thing because I personally do not believe, even in my storytelling, that anybody gets to say, oh, I just know that this is going to happen, this is destiny, because I believe in free will fully and completely. And so I think that our characters, even these fictional characters, cannot say things like that. They don't know her mindset. They do know her to a certain extent, right? They do love her because they know what quality person she is. But this idea that it's almost more like they created this thing, right? They stayed away long enough that of course somebody else comes forward. They kind of already sensed it would happen. Well, that is what happens. It's not prophecy. It's that when you don't show up for somebody, guess what? Somebody else takes your space. So it's more like, maybe a little bit more of like, they've known that it would be fair if they were the ones who now had to wait on her to decide on them. That's more the way I would look at that. But I don't know, this whole story has been like a lot of repeats, a lot of cycles, a lot of, swirling round and round. We had repeat cards out of multiple decks, which is not really that easy to get considering how many decks I used. And I kind of feel like I'm not super in favor of the King of Wands situation, only because I feel like they knew what actions they should have taken and didn't. Meanwhile, the other character, that knight, seems to have said, well, I know what I'd like to do, but not until I'm completely, clean and clear. I'm not going to open a new door until I'm really ready for it. And so they kind of handled things a little bit better, is what I would have argued in this. I don't know. You guys let me know. What do you think? Which characters, did you identify with, as far as like, oh, I can understand their behavior. I can understand their behavior. For her, we don't have an answer as to what she's picking. Only she knows that, because we ended with her with that 8 of Cups. So whatever she wants is going to be what she chooses for herself. And I actually like the fact that we didn't answer that. I like the fact that the choice belongs to her and her alone, and it will be determined based off of what she wants her own life to look like. It's not about like, oh, this person hurt me, this person didn't treat me good. It's about, wait, what do I want? Who could I picture having a future with that would be the kind of future I'm hungry for? So it feels like a nice empowered ending. Cards. Okay. Anyway, guys, sorry, I just put away a deck that I still have cards out of. There we go. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out and going along with this one. This one was a little complicated. This one took a few winding circular little messages. So thank you guys that followed along. As always, I am absolutely delighted you guys are here. I am a fictional storyteller, not a psychic, in case you're new here. I know many of you are not new. You've been here with me a long time, and thank you everybody for popping by. If you guys do enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe. And then at the end of the day, I hope it's always empowering just to be reminded these stories will not tell you what your life is going to be like or what you should do. All that is up to you. And whoever you are, wherever you are, you know I support you. So I hope your life is amazing. You guys, thank you. Thank you for your lovely energy. Oh my gosh, Carol, so well said. Yeah. You can see all sides. You never know how you'll react unless you're in it. You're so right. That's so true. Oh, Tyler, thank you so much for being here, Tyler Jeffries. Dr. J, you made it. Awesome. Candy Puff, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, this one made my brain have to jump a little bit, but I enjoyed it too. Mary Angelita, thank you for being here. What a beautiful name. And Marie, hi, how are you, honey? Hi, Jenna. I am so glad you made it for the live tonight. I hear you, Denise. Yeah, yeah. I hear you. Yeah, and that's so sweet. That's so big of you to wish him well also. I know these are fictional characters, but still, that's so awesome when you can say, "Nope, we wish that character well, but we don't want that one." Hey, DU888. Sabrina, hello. Boy, a lot of you guys are up late tonight. Pro Cheebird, hello, hello. All right, you guys. Everybody have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is one of my family members' birthdays, so I'll probably do some videos in the morning and then again late at night. So look for those. It's just been kind of a bumpy little week. So, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Absolutely. All right. So lots of love. Bye.